Greetings, everyone. Greetings, everyone. Wishing each one of you a very happy Constitution. Constitution Day is celebrated on 26th of November every year. In fact, it was only on the 19th of November 2015 that the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment decided to celebrate 26th November as Constitution Day. Before that, it was celebrated as National Law Day. Why National Law Day? Because it celebrated the Constitution. It celebrated the values of the Constitution and the Constitution, which was seen as a rule book, as a law book. The change was made to make it a Constitution Day to instill in our young minds, to promote constitutional values amongst our citizens, and realize what a beautiful document was crafted and drafted by the makers of the Constitution. Celebrating this event is a dream and should be a mission for each one of us, because it celebrates us, it celebrates India, it celebrates our Constitution, it celebrates what we are today. So we must take pride in what our Constitution is. But to take pride in what our Constitution is, we need to understand what our Constitution is. Why is it important? Why is it necessary? And why should we study it? And also know as to what are the salient features of our Constitution. What makes it stand apart? And what is in the Constitution which has stood the test of time and been as vibrant as today, if not more, than what it was in 1950. Let me share a small presentation with you and try to convey to you what the Constitution means and what it is. Let's celebrate today, the 26th of November. On the screen, there are a lot of pictures. A newspaper clipping of the Indian Express, which says the new constitution was adopted. The Constituent Assembly, which talks of a miniature India because it had representation, though not elected, but selected, but yet it represented the heart and soul of India. On the left-hand side, you see all the members who signed the Constitution, who drafted the Constitution. They appended their signatures on the 24th of January, 1950. On the top left-hand corner is the entire team of luminaries led by Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, who drafted the Constitution. On the top right-hand corner were the women who were involved in drafting the Indian Constitution. In the center, it is the date, 1946, when the Constituent Assembly of India met for the first time to write out the Constitution of India. What is a constitution? A constitution is a set of laws, principles, which may be written like it is for the Indian Constitution, or unwritten, which is like the British Constitution, on which a country is governed. Are fundamental laws and principles which tell us how a nation is governed, what can a government do, what do other political institutions do. It's a body of rules which regulates the system of government within a state. But why is a constitution important? It is important because it is a supreme law of the land. It tells you and me who is going to exercise power. It tells you and me who will exercise authority. It lays down the rules for us. How will our country be governed in times of peace, in times of crisis, in times of emergency, in times of war? It also includes a framework of amendments, because a rule book is not static. It is not constant. Amendments so that it can be changed with the changing times. So let's now study and go across as to what is a constitution and the salient features of it. The Constitution begins with the preamble. And the preamble says, we the people, the most powerful element, the most sovereign element. It is we who give power to the Constitution. It is we who are supreme. People across the country, across states, across languages, across cuisines, across cultures. And our Constitution is based on the three pillars: liberty, equality, and fraternity. Let's see how the Constitution came into being. On the 9th of December 1946, its first meeting was held. Who was the president? Dr. Rajendra Prasad, who was elected on the 11th of December. And the drafting committee was appointed on the 29th of August 1947, headed by Dr. Ambedkar. On the 4th of November 1947, the draft constitution was submitted. On the 26th of November 1949, the complete process of drafting was done. On the 24th of January 1950, this handwritten constitution was signed by all the living members. And finally, on the 26th of January 1950, the constitution was legally enforced. It took the Constituent Assembly, the body which was responsible for framing the constitution, 2 years, 11 months, and 18 days to prepare the final draft. And almost 2,000 amendments were made before it was finalized. Every provision, every law, every rule was thoroughly discussed and debated within the Constituent Assembly before it found itself a place in the Indian Constitution. The one person responsible for this beautiful and intellectual document is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the first Law Minister of Free India, the chairman of the drafting committee, and rightly called the architect of the Indian Constitution. Dr. Ambedkar opined that the Constitution is not a lawyer's document. It is not just rules. It is not just laws. It is a vehicle of life. And its spirit is always the spirit of age. Therefore, the Constitution, after so many years, is still strong, still vibrant, and takes India onto the path of growth and prosperity. In fact, Dr. Ambedkar once said that however good a constitution may be, unless those who implement it are not good, it will not be good. And however bad a constitution may be, if people implementing it are good, then the constitution will be good. Let's come to some of the salient features of our constitution. It was originally written in English and Hindi only. And both these copies were signed by each member of the Constituent Assembly. The English version has 1,17,369 words. Our constitution is a long document. It took inspiration from various other constitutions. In fact, it is jokingly referred to as a bag of borrowings. Why? Because we borrowed constitutions from many other countries, like the US, where we borrowed the concept of the preamble, we the people, the Russian constitution, the French constitution, the German constitution, the Canadian constitution, the Irish constitution. But it has not been a slavish adoption. We've not just picked up rules and put them in our book. No, every bit, every law, every aspect was thoroughly debated and discussed and seen whether it fits into the Indian scene before being fitted into the Indian Constitution. It is the longest constitution of the world. In fact, the original constitution had 395 articles divided into 22 parts and 8 schedules. Today, there are 448 articles, 25 parts, and 12 schedules. But the beauty of the document is that the numbering still remains the same. Whenever a new amendment is there, it is placed before the old one with just a suffix A, B, or C. Example, when right to education was brought about under a new article remained 21, but it was written as Article 21A. So see how beautifully the Constitution makers have structured this document. The Indian Constitution is a handwritten document. Who wrote it? Mr. Prem Bihari Narayan Raisa. He was a calligrapher, and he wrote the entire constitution by hand in a flowing italic style. And thereafter, it was published, and every page was decorated by artists from Shantiniketan. Shantiniketan, a neighborhood which was expanded by Rabindranath Tagore. Every page was beautifully decorated by all these. Borders were made, ideas were given. Every bit had an original painting to it. The original 2 copies of the Constitution are even today kept in special helium-filled cases in the Library of the Parliament of India. Coming back to the Constituent Assembly, it met for the first time on the 9th of December. And as we had seen earlier, it took almost 3 years for it to be completed. On the 26th January, the Indian Constitution was legally adopted, was enforced. And alongside was also enforced our national emblem. And what is our national emblem? The lion capital of Ashoka. It had 4 Asiatic lions standing back to back. And what do these 4 lions represent? They represent power, courage, pride, and confidence. And it was these values which were sought to be incorporated in the Indian Constitution. Do you know why 26th January was adopted for a Republic Day and enforcement of the Constitution? For the simple reason that on the 26th of January 1930, India had declared Poorn Swaraj. The Indian Congress in Lahore session had decided that now we want complete independence. And to commemorate this, 26th of January was chosen as our Republic Day and the date when we enforced our Constitution. Our Constitution has survived for so many years. And in these 72 odd years, it has been amended 104 times. The last amendment was the 104th Amendment Act. There are, in fact, another 20 bills which are still pending for Parliament approval, which can be made into amendments. But as of now, there are 104 amendments, and the 104th Amendment basically increased the reservation deadline for another 10 years. This brings us to another argument. Some critics argue that in 72 years, we amended the Constitution 104 times. Is there a need to change the Constitution? Should we rewrite a new Constitution? Should we have a new Constitution? But I firmly believe, as a student of political science, that there is no need for a new Constitution. Our Constitution is so vibrant. It has been amended, yes, to suit the existing conditions, to suit the changing conditions. And a classic example of this is how constitutions have changed over time. We've incorporated so many new rights. We've incorporated so many new freedoms. We've incorporated so many new aspects. Right to information, right to education, right to privacy. All this shows that the Constitution is a living document. The Constitution is a breathing document. It has changed with times. It has evolved with times. It's grown with times, and it reflects our aspirations. It's made us a republic of the right choices. It's made us a republic where every citizen has access to fundamental rights and also has a conscious decision to follow his duties. And the person responsible and taking the Constitution to such heights was none other than Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar. Let's now have a little bit of an activity and some fun. After you're done with this presentation, think about all what was said in this presentation and let me know what the Constitution means to you. What does each letter of the Constitution mean? For me, the version is C, country, O, of, N, new, S, symbols, T, to, I, initiate, T, the, U, urgent, T, transparent, I, ideas, O, of, N, new India. Let your social science teacher knows what you think of all this. If you all write it down in your notebooks, send an image of it to ma'am. Then we can create a country which is full of new ideas, full of a commitment, full of a pledge whereby we can take India to the next level. And that can happen only if we have a sense of pride in our constitution. The government of India, under the Azadi Ka Ke Mahotsav, has initiated 2 activities. So after we are done with this presentation, go on to the MyGov portal and click on this link and read out the preamble. You can read it out in any of the 22 official languages and in English. Record it and put it and upload it. Also, do not forget to participate in the online quiz on constitutional democracy. The moment you get your certificate, share it with your social science teacher, and we will make a compendium of it. Let's end this presentation with a narration and a recitation of the preamble. All of you, put your right hand on your heart and let's read our preamble. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of our nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November, 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give ourselves this Constitution. Thank you. There is a YouTube link, which is a musical rendition of the Constitution. So for all those creative minds who love music, try and compose this preamble to music and see how beautiful and deep it comes out. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for all what you've given to hear this presentation. Wishing each one of you a happy Constitution Day, and let's pledge to keep this nation strong and powerful and grow from strength to strength. God bless you all.